I thought we would try to learn some Arabic chants. Would you like to teach us some Arabic chants? No, I would love if you could teach us some Arabic chants. Yeah.
All right, let's start with one that hopefully everyone should know by now. من المية للمية 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 فلسطين عربية فلسطين عربية فلسطين عربية فلسطين عربية فلسطين عربية فلسطين عربية. This is the Arabic version of From the River to the Sea, Palestine will be free. Alright, let's start another one that's easy. You guys know what's Palestine in Arabic? Palestine. That's all you have to say. I'm gonna say نموت وتحيا, you say Palestine. نموت وتحيا 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 Palestine. That means we sacrifice our lives for Palestine. All right, let's try it. Maybe a little bit harder one. Everyone say Ali. 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 You're gonna say it 4 times. Ali, 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 Ali. Ali, 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 Ali. Ali, 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 Ali. Ali, 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 Ali. And the second part is Ali علم الثورة علي. Ali علم الثورة علي. Okay, I'll take it step by step. So the first one is Ali, again as before. Second is علم. 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 الثورة. 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 And then Ali again. Ali. Ali. So all together. Ali علم الثورة علي. Ali علم الثورة علي. Ali علم الثورة علي. Ali علم الثورة علي. علي 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 علي. علي 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 علي. علي علم الثورة علي. علي علم الثورة علي. علي علم الثورة علي. This means raise, raise, raise the flag of the revolution. Raise. علي 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 علي. علي 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 علي. علي علم الثورة علي. علي علم الثورة علي. علي علم الثورة علي. Okay, let's do one more that's collective, okay? So the part you'll say is Yalla irhal ya Sohyun. Yalla irhal ya Sohyun. We'll take it step by step. Yalla. Yalla. You guys know that one. Immediately, let's go. Yalla. Yalla. Irhal. 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 Means leave. Ya Sohyun. Ya Sohyun. Ya Sohyun. Ya Sohyun. It means you Zionist. So all together it's Yalla irhal ya Sohyun. Yalla irhal ya Sohyun. Yalla irhal ya Sohyun. Yalla irhal ya Sohyun. Yalla Sohyun. Yalla irhal ya Sohyun. Yalla irhal ya Sohyun. ويا صهيون يومانك منا خد كلابك وارحل عنا وشرعيتك ساقط عنا ويلا ارحل يا صهيون. يلا ارحل يا صهيون. ويلا ارحل يا صهيون. يلا ارحل يا صهيون. ويا صهيون ويا ملك الارض بلادي ما بتهون، دم الشهداء ما بنخون، ويلا ارحل يا صهيون، ويلا ارحل يا صهيون، ويا صهيوني ويا كذاب، وتضرب انت وهالخطاب، الحرية صارت عالباب، يلا ارحل يا صهيون، ويلا ارحل يا صهيون، ويا صهيوني وطز فيك وطز يلي بيحييك، والله عرفنا نطلع فيك، يلا ارحل يا صهيون، ويلا ارحل يا صهيون، ويا صهيوني ويا ملعون، وارض بلادي ما بتهون، ودم الشهداء ما بنخون، يلا ارحل يا صهيون، يلا ارحل يا صهيون، ويا صهيوني ويا جبان ويا عامين الامريكان، الفلسطيني ما بينهان، يلا ارحل يا صهيون، يلا ارحل يا صهيون، ويلا ارحل يا صهيون، ويلا ارحل يا صهيون. Thank you. من المية للمية، فلسطين عربية، من المية للمية، فلسطين عربية، نموت ونحيا، نموت ونحيا، نموت ونحيا، نموت ونحيا.
من المية للمية، فلسطين عربية. Woo! I feel a lot of pride right now. I'm very proud of my comrades, of my friends, of my community members, of my fellow workers who took a stand yesterday. Who took a stand yesterday not just against Microsoft, but against genocide, against injustice. And while I have a lot of pride, we did witness disheartening brutalizations yesterday, which only remind me of the violence that continues to unfold and continues to unimaginably escalate in Gaza today. And I want us to hold the thought of our martyrs, our shaheed, in our hearts as we take action, as we take pride in our action, as we are proud to be given the opportunity to resist genocide where we are. And so as we begin our program today, I want to first invite a speaker who may recite some poems to ground us.
I'm going to be reading two poems from Ghassan Kanafani, who was martyred in 1972. He was a Palestinian writer. All your armies, all your fighters, all your tanks and all your soldiers, against the boy holding a stone, standing there all alone. In his eyes I see the sun, in his smile I see the moon, and I wonder, who is weak and who is strong? Who is right and who is wrong? And I only wish that the truth has a tongue. This is a second poem. I wish children didn't die. I wish they would be temporarily elevated to the skies until the war ends. Then they would return home safe. And when their parents would ask them, "Where were you?" they would say, "We were playing in the clouds." Do you want to hear a third one?
Yes.
The grapevine is blooming, cousin. The grapevine is blooming. I stepped towards the door where Saad was bent over the dirt, where there grew since a time which at that moment seemed to be infinitely remote, the strong, firm stems which she had brought to me one morning, a green head sprouting through the dirt with a vigor that had a voice of its own. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us today. I'm an organizer with Vigil, which is a local Seattle organization that believes in the Palestinian right to return, liberation, and resistance. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge in unavoidable and urgent solidarity with the Indigenous and Native peoples and their struggles here on this land. And I would like to recognize that we are all currently occupying the ancestral lands of the Coast Salish people, who continue to steward these lands and waters as they have since time immemorial. Not only do we just recognize this land as stolen Indigenous land, but we uplift the inherent links between the anti-colonial struggle being waged by the Indigenous people of Palestine, as well as the Indigenous struggle here on Turtle Island. We will continue to struggle for sovereignty and land return for all Indigenous peoples around the world, including here in Turtle Island. And acknowledgement is no longer enough. So today, August 21st, 2025, marks over 684 days since Israel's escalated genocide against Palestinians. In the past months, the world has witnessed Israel's Zionist violence reach unimaginable heights, starving millions of Palestinian families, children and parents alike. Every day, Palestinians are being killed by the technological warfare powered by big tech corporations like Microsoft. Shame! Shame! The conservative and official death toll recorded by the Gaza Ministry of Health as of today reaches 62,192 deaths. Shame! Estimates that attempt to account for uncounted casualties reach over 250,000 martyrs. Shame. Shame! Hundreds of Palestinians almost every day are killed, if not from direct Israeli airstrikes, direct Israeli Microsoft AI, Microsoft cloud-powered airstrikes, then they are succumbing to their injuries from scattered shrapnel, from lack of medical equipment, from lack of medicine, lack of doctors, lack of ambulances, fuel, aid, and food, or countless other reasons that are unaccounted for due to the sheer breadth of violence that we are witnessing today. Shame. Shame! And only thanks to the efforts of workers of conscience at Microsoft have we learned that in the past year, we've learned that this breadth of violence has been made possible through big tech corporations like Microsoft. Palestinians have indiscriminately been targeted by Microsoft, by Zionism, by Israel. And we're here to say, IOF off the cloud! IOF off the cloud! IOF off the cloud!
IOF off the cloud!
Employees, say it loud!
Employees, say it loud!
IOF off the cloud!
IOF off the cloud!
I want us to face Microsoft campus when we say this chant so they can hear us loud and clear. Employees, say it loud!
Employees, say it loud!
IOF off the cloud!
IOF off the cloud!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
And in addition to the indiscriminate airstrikes that we've been witnessing for almost 2 years now, somehow the Zionist entity has crafted even more inhumane ways in the last few days to oppress and brutalize the Palestinian people by escalating their siege on Gaza, on the few remaining free neighborhoods. They try to burn out whatever light is left. Shame! Shame! I recall the words of journalist Bisan Ouda, which, give it up to Bisan. She gravely described the siege as so serious that if we don't stand up and do something now, then everything that we have done in the last 2 years has been done in vain. And that should sit with us. Right. Do the children in Gaza deserve to be failed? No. Do the children in Gaza deserve to be failed? No. Do the last free lands of Palestine deserve to be occupied? No. Do Palestinians deserve occupation? No. Do the martyrs sacrifice in vain? No. Do the martyrs sacrifice in vain? No. Will there be a free Palestine? Yes! Journalist Bisan Ouda from Gaza has also called for today to be a strike for Gaza. That today, August 21st, we respond by answering that call to disrupt business as usual, to disrupt work as usual, to disrupt our consumerist culture as usual. We disrupt by extending the Liberated Zone, the martyred Palestinian Children's Plaza, which we witnessed day before yesterday and today. That protest, that standing up, does not end, does not succumb to repression, does not succumb to state violence, does not succumb to Microsoft's violence. Instead, we continue to echo workers' demands, and we continue to echo Gaza's demands by showing up every day for Palestine. Nothing that Microsoft does is going to make us feel like we need to back down. We are deriving our strength, our compass, our will from the people of Gaza. Every day that a person in Gaza wakes up and chooses to live and try another day for their children, for their parents, for their families, for their land is another day that we do not have an excuse to give up. And so Microsoft and the state's violence yesterday is not going to stop workers of conscience. It's not going to stop community members' concerns for how Microsoft, which encroaches on the Seattle community, it does not stop our concerns on how they are complicit, not just complicit, but manufacturing, architecting, expanding the genocide in Gaza. Shame! Shame! So we must be loud, and we must call for a strike where it hurts the economy, where it hurts this beast. So slow down the flow of money. Spend less, if not at all, in a day. Work less, if not at all, in a day. Stop lining the pockets of billionaires like Satya Nadella, like of these executive companies. Stop lining the pockets of war profiteers. Practice the boycott, divest, and sanction recommendations, and seize business and consumerism as usual. For our first speaker, I'll invite an organizer from Seattle, to speak on the martyrs and their importance. Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine.
Yeah. All right, so first of all, I was just told by the organizers that there's water near the tent. If anyone needs water, please go get water. Second thing I want to note real quick before I get started is that if you notice the people that are driving by, the people that are angry at this demonstration, they're yelling. They have such anger because there's such a sense of desperation in what they're trying to get across, but the people that are supportive are actually genuinely supportive. And I think that should really tell you where we are as a movement right now.
That's right.
So continue to build. Gotta be solution. So assalamu alaikum. I'm a speaker with Nadal. First of all, I just want to say that we're not here to count the dead. Numbers are a language of bureaucrats, and it's a language of distant headlines. They are cold, they are hollow, and they are a betrayal of the truth we hold in our hearts. We're here instead to talk about life, to speak of the ultimate price paid for life. We're here to speak about our martyrs, our shuhada. In every stone in Jerusalem, in every olive grove in Jenin, in the alleyways of Gaza, and in the hills of Al-Khalil, there is an echo. It is not an echo of surrender. It will never be an echo of surrender. It is not an echo of a number either. It's an echo of a name. A laugh, a dream, a final breath, willingly given for a love so profound that it transcends the understanding of those who have never loved a land in this way. They are not faceless casualties of a distant conflict. They are mothers like Reem Najjar, killed while making lunch for her children in Gaza. They are fathers like Dr. Iyad Rantisi, a renowned physician gunned down as he treated the wounded. They are journalists like Shireen Abu Akhla and Anas Sharif, who were killed and targeted for simply telling the truth. They are poets, artists, doctors, dreamers like Hiba Al-Attar, a young artist whose vibrant paintings were extinguished by a bomb. They were the future of Palestine, stolen from us by the relentless machinery of occupation. They are our history. We must remember that. Our martyrs are our history, written not in ink, but in blood and in sacrifice. From the generations who watched their homes vanish in 1948, to the children of the camp, like Jenin's Ubaida Akram Bahar, who never knew a homeland but died for one, to the unarmed protesters like those in the Great March of Return, the journalists with their cameras, the medics like Razan al-Najjar with her aid kit. Their sacrifice is the bedrock of our resilience. When they took their last breath for Palestine, they did not vanish. They became something else. They became the roots of our nation. Deep beneath the soil, feeding the tree of our steadfastness, our samud. Their blood watering the roots of a tree of revolution that will soon bear fruit. With every life taking, a seed of defiance was planted. With every unjust death, the world's consciousness was pricked. The world's conscience was pricked, and the bonds of our people were forged stronger in the fires of collective grief. To call them only victims, the reason why I don't like to call them only victims, it's to misunderstand their power. A victim is passive. A martyr, on the other hand, is an active, searing testament to injustice. Their very existence in death is an accusation. They are the undeniable evidence. They are the question that the world must answer. Why? And for how long? We do not glorify death. We honor the profound, earth-shattering love that makes life worth sacrificing. We honor the mother who throws herself in front of her child. We honor the teenager who stands, stone in hand, before a tank, not out of hate, but out of a furious, unbreakable love for a freedom they have never known. So we will not let the world forget their names. We will say them aloud until they are not statistics, but stories. Reem, Iyad, Shireen, Hiba, Ubaida, Razan. Until they are not casualties, but children, we will etch them into global memory. And to those who would call this violence, we ask, what is more violent than a bomb falling on a sleeping family? What is more violent than a sniper's bullet aimed at a medic? What is more violent than the slow, grinding oppression of a people for 75 years? Our martyrs are the devastating, heartbreaking response to the primary original violence of dispossession. Their legacy is not one of revenge, their legacy is one of undeniable truth. They passed the torch of memory to us. It is now our sacred duty to carry it, and we will carry it by living, by remembering, by gathering, by telling their stories, by continuing to stand, to love our land, to exist, and to demand, not ask, but demand for the justice that they paid with their own lives. When I walk in the refugee camp my family lives in, and I look at the posters of all the martyrs, literally everywhere, from the opening of the refugee camp to the end of the road, down the blocks, up the hills. And I look at these posters, some related by blood, some related by collective struggle. I'm overcome with pride, and I have to remind myself, these people, they're not gone. They're in the resilience of olive trees that grows from cracked earth. They're in the key that a refugee holds in their home, passed down through generations. They are the flag that is raised against the barbed wire. They are in the heart of every Palestinian who looks at the night sky and knows with unshakable certainty that the dawn of freedom is coming. For the martyrs did not die for us to surrender. They did not die for us to surrender. They died for us to be free. So let their memory be a revolution. Let their sacrifice be our strength. Let their echoes become our roar, for the blood was not spilled in vain, but has watered the seeds of our liberation. And my friends, we will soon witness and blossom gathered collectively in our land, on our land, watching the sunset over a free Palestine. So I want to pass it on to a friend of mine, Abdo, a former Microsoft worker, the nicest person you'll ever meet in your life. He has some thoughts to share, so I'm extremely proud and honored to pass it
on. And while Abdo reads us out a very important reading, someone is passing out zines right now, and if you haven't got a zine, they are near the tent. And while Abdo will be reading us a poem, we ask that you use a piece of chalk and choose a slogan as listed from the zine and chalk on the ground so that we know what it means to respond to calls to action. Maybe that as we're hearing these asks, we train ourselves to respond. So with that, I'll hand it over to Abdo, and we'll be passing out zines and chalk.
In these moments, I'm reminded by Rifat al-Arir, a writer, a poet, and a university professor who believed in the power of storytelling as a means of resistance. If I must die, you must live to tell my story, to sell my things, to buy a piece of cloth and some strings, make it white with a long tail, so that a child somewhere in Gaza, while looking heaven in the eye, awaiting his dad who left in a blaze, and bid no one farewell, not even to his flesh, not even to himself, sees the kite, my kite you made, flying up above, and thinks for a moment an angel is there, bringing back love. If I must die, let it bring hope, let it be a tale. As we stand here to honor our martyrs, and we stand here to recite their tales, as we stand here to bring hope, as we stand here to ground ourselves that the only one way to honor them is to take action.
Right.
The only way is to rise up. The only way is to revolt.
Right.
The martyrs are calling for us, and we must answer. Our tears, our sympathies are not enough. We cannot afford despair. We cannot afford silence. To our people in Gaza and all over Palestine, we see you. We hear you. We grieve with you. We rage for you. We revolt for you. And we stand in unconditional solidarity with you against the Israeli genocidal campaign of starvation, bombardment, and displacement. You have given us a moral compass and shown us courage at a time when it's hard to find. In this world, we mourn your families, your friends and loved ones, but we also take an oath upon ourselves. For the days, weeks, months, years, decades, centuries to come, we will remember your lives, we will honor your memories, we will fight for a world where our martyrs would have still been with us, living in dignity and freedom. And we take an oath today to take action so that tomorrow we stand here again to recite the names of all Palestinian martyrs in the hour of liberation for a free Palestine.
We're going to have a few minutes of a moment of silence, and in this time you can continue to talk. I encourage that you speak to the person next to you in choosing out a slogan or where to chalk. Use this as a moment to connect with your community, and we'll resume program in just a few minutes. And when we resume, we will begin our press conference portion where we will be hearing from repressed workers, arrested workers who were arrested yesterday, community members who were arrested and brutalized yesterday. And we will resume in just a few minutes. Thank you.
There is sunscreen and water if folks need it, food as well.
I don't think so. I don't think he knew about this enough in advance. But like he's around now.
He's like moved here from us?
Yeah.
We should hang out.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I was like, we're gonna do that. I don't know who that is. I miss you. That's awesome. That's awesome.
the bus was just a little late, but I just hopped on. Yeah.
Dude, I like that.
Yeah, it was one of those, isn't it? Yeah.
Wait. So if the speakers stand there,
You can move it.
yeah.
If you want to come this way,
Yeah.
let's just move
Yeah.
it.
I know you guys have been
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, what do you think?
Yeah.
Think of right here?
I think so. Abdul, can you just stand on that wall behind me? Yeah. Beautiful. Okay.
Would you also happen to have a portable charger? I think it'd be okay, but
I might have one, but it might not be enough.
just because I came with full charge. It's already at 66. So I want to say it'll make it.
Are you USB-C?
Yeah. Thank you.
That does not have charge.
Okay.
Battery bank.
Thank you so much. And we'll just be right here. Thank you.
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Thank you all for taking a moment to chalk and take in action, no matter how small, with your community. To resume program, I'll start by defining a word we may use a lot more today, and a word that you've probably been hearing a lot in the last few months. This word is intifada. Intifada is the Arabic word for uprising. And intifada is what happened when the Vietnamese reclaimed their land from the US military occupation. And intifada is what happened when Algerians reclaimed their land from French colonizers. And an intifada is not only what's happening in Gaza and Palestine today, but it is what is happening globally, and it is what's happening amongst workers. To begin briefing on the worker-intifada, I'll introduce myself again as your MC. My name is Iman. I am also a former Google worker who was fired in the protests against my own employer's complicity in Israeli contracts. And I'm here, shame. And I'm here in solidarity with my worker comrades who also confront genocidal power and demand justice. I'll be introducing several speakers today, amongst whom are those who were arrested yesterday, former workers, current workers, community members who face not just repression, but also state violence, Microsoft-summoned police violence. So just to outline who our speakers will be, first we'll be hearing from Hussam, who is a former unjustly fired Microsoft worker, who will speak on the happenings of yesterday at the martyred Palestinian Children's Plaza. And then we will hear from a No Azure for Apartheid organizer, Nisreen Jaradat, who will speak on the many ways Microsoft represses and retaliates against workers. And we'll also be hearing from another organizer with No Azure for Apartheid, who will explain the demands of the workers who commenced the martyred Palestinian Children's Plaza yesterday, and on Microsoft's disappointing response. And we'll also be hearing our final speaker as a part of the press conference. We'll be hearing from Ahmed, who will be speaking on the violence he experienced yesterday from the Microsoft-summoned police. So first, I'll invite Hussam Nasser, who is a former Microsoft worker and No Azure for Apartheid organizer, where he'll speak.
Hello everyone, my name is Hussam Nasr. I'm an organizer with noaa for Apartheid, and I'm a former worker with Microsoft. Today, this vigil, it is coming full circle for me because almost a year ago, I was also fired at a different vigil on the martyred Palestinian Children's Plaza, also known, formerly known as the East Campus Plaza. But today, I am here, standing defiant, undefeated, resilient, after being arrested on the grounds of the Liberated Zone yesterday on the same plaza. So I'll start by talking about the Liberated Zone and what happened. On Tuesday, August 19th, shortly after noon, Microsoft workers, former workers, and community members established the Liberated Zone encampment on the martyred Palestinian Children's Plaza, formerly known as the East Campus Plaza, before it was dispersed. Protesters set up tents, art pieces, banners, a plate labeled "Stop Starving Gaza," a welcome desk to invite everyone to join, and a media tent to honor the assassinated Palestinian journalist Anas al-Sharif. The plaza was renamed to honor the tens of thousands of Palestinian children that Microsoft aided in their murder, some of whom we have heard their stories today. We launched the Liberated Zone with the following demands. 1, cut ties with Israel. We demand that Microsoft fully and perpetually divests from Israel's economy of occupation, apartheid, and genocide. 2, to call for an end to the genocide and forced starvation. To demand that Microsoft uses its global influence to call for lifting the siege and the blockade on Gaza, to let aid into the Palestinian held people in Gaza, to call for an end to the genocide, and to pressure other companies and governments to call for the same. 3, to pay reparations for the Palestinian people, for the active participation in their occupation and genocide. And 4, to end the discrimination against its workers, to end the discrimination against Palestinian, Arab, Muslim, and pro-Palestinian workers, including providing amnesty for the workers involved in the Liberated Zone, retracting the disciplinary measures, and reinstating the fire workers who were retaliated against for Palestine, organizing, protecting all the workers involved in Palestinian advocacy, and reinstating UNRWA USA to the Employee Give portal. Yesterday, on August 20th, shortly after noon, Microsoft workers, former workers, and community members once again redeployed the Liberated Zone encampment on the martyred Palestinian Children's Plaza for a second day in a row. But within about 15 minutes of the Liberated Zone being reestablished, police quickly arrived on scene before promptly starting to threaten arrests. Protesters continued to hold the space for about an hour, after which police started to single out protesters and make targeted arrests. Over the following hour, cops made mass arrests using unnecessary and unjustifiable violence against protesters. Protesters were held to the ground while detained. They had pepper spray thrown in their faces, and one even had a pepper ball gun pointed at his face and was shot with a point blank at his back with pepper balls, causing a severe injury. Just to name one example, I, for one, was violently tackled, held down, and then strapped and restrained in a tight plastic wrap after being arrested. I was then placed in the back of a police car without a seatbelt, and while the cop was driving, she slammed on the brakes, causing me to hit my shoulder on the barrier twice, causing an injury to my right shoulder. Overall, 20 arrests were made yesterday. I repeat, it was 20 people were violently arrested yesterday simply for peacefully protesting complicity in the worst genocide of our lifetime. Microsoft chose to instruct the police to quickly escalate to violence and chemical weapons, despite repeated calls by workers and the No Asia for Apartheid campaign to come to the negotiating table and to listen to our demands to cut ties with Israel. As arrests were happening, protesters further gathered in the public sidewalk near the martyred Palestinian Children's Plaza, where they held a short rally, then moved to disperse after all arrests were made. Arrested protesters were then transported to the South Correctional Entity, or SCORE, in Des Moines, Washington, a private prison with a track record for horrific treatment and even inmates dying. The city of Seattle just reapproved a contract with SCORE despite community organizing and pushback and hours of public comment against the jail and the conditions there. After arriving to the jail, protesters were still held in police vehicles for anywhere from 2 to 10 hours before being booked, all while still zip-tied and handcuffed. 7 of the protesters were held zip-tied in a police van for 8 to 10 hours before booking without even food or water. But despite the conditions, community members showed up to SCORE to support the arrested workers and community members to post bail and to greet the released protesters to cheers, food, and friends. The last protester was booked at midnight. The last bail was only allowed to be posted at 3 a.m. this morning, and the last release happened at 4:30 a.m. this morning, over 12 hours after arrests started. But despite the violence, despite the repression, despite the brutalization, despite the arrests, we remain defiant, we remain undefeated, and we hold our heads high, knowing that this is what the urgency of this moment requires. Make no mistake, the violence that we all witnessed yesterday was entirely escalated and instigated by Microsoft, its leadership, and the police. We hold Microsoft, RPD, BPD, and SPD entirely responsible for all the violence against protesters yesterday. Instead of choosing to end their bloody complicity with the Israeli military, instead of engaging with the encampment in negotiations, instead of listening to the demands of over 2,000 of their workers, Microsoft leadership instead chose brutalization, pepper balls, arrests, violence, which is exactly the kind of violence they are perpetuating in Palestine. We also know that the treatment of the Liberated Zone protesters is unfortunately not unusual at SCORE. While our protesters had the luxury of being bailed out, others who are incarcerated there did not have the same luxury. We stand in solidarity with everyone still incarcerated, especially at SCORE, who have to deal with these conditions indefinitely. More importantly, we also know that while we experience violence, the real violence is being experienced by our people in Palestine. We might have been shot with pepper balls, but our people in Palestine are being shot with live ammunition in the head. We may have been denied food and water for 12 hours, but our people in Palestine have been deprived for food and water for over 22 months. We are grounded in the conviction that no sacrifice we make here in the belly of the beast will ever amount to anything in the face of the violence and repression and extermination that is being experienced by our people in Palestine. This is what grounds us in this moment. It is the realization, it is the urgency of this moment. It is the knowledge that every single second that we do not stop Microsoft's complicity is another second that our labor is being used to fuel the mass murder of our people. We are witnessing the most brutal, the most violent, the most documented, and the first AI-assisted genocide of our lifetime, powered by Microsoft. The Liberated Zone followed almost 2 years of sustained worker organizing against Microsoft's complicity in the Israeli military's technological backbone that is currently exterminating the people of Gaza. Yet Microsoft insists on continuing their distraction tactics, announcing yet another investigation to look into the fact that what we all know, that Microsoft technology is complicit in the genocide. Funny enough, when it comes to responding to our organizing for Palestine, Microsoft has not hesitated to use the most blunt tools available immediately. When Microsoft workers were sending emails protesting genocide, they resorted to immediately censoring and blocking out the mention of Palestine in every single outgoing email of a worker. When one of our organizers sent an email in protest of this policy, she was immediately locked out of her account for 6 weeks while they conducted their so-called investigation. Yet when it comes to their own customers using their technology for genocide, for war crimes, for extermination, that's when they offer the benefit of the doubt. That's when they do investigations. That's when they continue the IOF to continue using their technology for murder at mass scale. But more importantly, we reject the premise that there could be any partnership with any Israeli entity that could be justifiable when Israel is conducting, again, the world's most well-documented genocide. We are past the time of investigations. We are past the time of symbolic gestures. We are past the time of treating Palestinians as subhuman, of insisting that Palestinian life has no value, that Palestinian children are ungrievable and unmournable. Ultimately, our message to Microsoft and its leaders is crystal clear. You cannot repress or distract your way out of confronting your complicity in this genocide. The liberated zone is not simply confined to the physical space it occupied. The liberated zone is everywhere at every time. The liberated zone will haunt you in your nightmares. The liberated zone will live on until true and full liberation. Once again, we reiterate the demands of the liberated zone, to cut ties with Israel, to call for an end to the genocide and forced starvation, to pay reparations to the Palestinian people, and to end the discrimination against its workers. Lastly, a message to the Palestinian people. To the mom who couldn't feed her starving baby, to the mother of Hind Rajab, to the orphan children, to Shaban al-Dalo's family, to the Hinds and the Sidras and the Asids and the Asrs and the Yusuf and the Shabans and everyone who heard their story today. We are standing here today not simply as allies, not simply in solidarity with you, but as accomplices in your righteous fight for liberation, and we will not stop fighting until you have the dignity that you deserve and until you liberate every single inch of your land. We will not be intimidated. We will not be silenced. Long live the liberated zone. Long live the Intifada and free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Hear our voices, read our banner!
Hear our voices, read our banner!
IOF off of Azure!
IOF off of Azure!
Before I introduce our next speaker, if you're holding on to a zine and you're seeing friendly coworkers walk by, I encourage you to share that zine with workers who are walking by. We have plenty more left that you can pick up after the program. And without further ado, I introduce our next speaker, which is Nasreen Jaradat, who is also an organizer with No Azure for Apartheid and a current Microsoft worker who will speak on the many ways which Microsoft represses worker voices who speak up for Palestine. Thank you.
As a Palestinian worker at Microsoft, I have witnessed and experienced obscene levels of repression and failed attempts to silence anyone who dares to humanize Palestinians. I've been working at Microsoft for nearly 7 years, and in that time, I've seen Microsoft gaslight and silence its workers, raising concerns. Microsoft firing and sanctioning any worker expressing Palestinian advocacy. And now, the extreme violence that Microsoft initiated by militarizing its headquarters and calling on the RPD to brutally arrest its own workers, former workers, and its local community members. Microsoft executives are scared. They are scared of their workers discovering that they have been misled into abetting a genocide. They have attempted to prevent all forms of pro-Palestine speech. I've seen Microsoft leaders ignore internal employee petitions, internal complaints and concerns raised with HR, Microsoft legal, management, and even executives. I've seen them delete and close questions asking for clarity on how our technology is used by the Israeli occupation forces in internal calls with leadership and in internal engagement channels. I've seen them formally sanction and retaliate against employees for advocacy as simple as a Free Palestine team status.
Shame!
Microsoft formally and financially sanctioned me for being vocal about Palestine twice. The most recent time was when I sent a mass email to my colleagues in May. Microsoft had spent the week brutalizing its own workers, former workers, and community members who protested at the Microsoft Build conference, repeatedly saying that we should instead follow the so-called proper channels. Microsoft then banned the use of the words Palestine, Gaza, genocide, and apartheid from all email communications, ultimately preventing us from following those processes. I bypassed the censorship and emailed as many workers as I could to deliver the message. No one can stop us from calling a genocide a genocide. No one can stop us from confronting Microsoft complicity in the massacres of my people. No one can stop us from answering Gaza's call. And no one can stop me from saying the name of my homeland, Palestine. I chose to participate in the encampment on the martyred Palestinian Children's Plaza because every moment is the right moment to escalate. Things in Palestine are only getting worse and worse. Every day, more and more of my people are being starved, being maimed, being tortured, being killed by the Microsoft-powered Israeli war machine. To the Microsoft workers who continued eating lunch while facing a large art piece of an empty plate reading "Stop Starving Gaza." To the Microsoft workers who continued sipping their iced coffee, facing bloodied flour bags representing how our Palestinian people are massacred daily while trying to get any food to feed their families under Israeli blockade. To the Microsoft workers who took their lunch to go so that they would not hear our speeches about how our labor is abetting starvation in Gaza. To the Microsoft workers who idly stood by as Microsoft militarized its campus to brutalize your co-workers and your neighbors. I ask you, when your children or grandchildren ask you what you were doing during the Holocaust of your time, are you content to tell them that you enjoyed your luxurious meals, your air-conditioned facilities, while your labor abetted starvation, displacement, and genocide? Are you at peace with telling your children and grandchildren that you continued raking in your stock vests on the blood of Palestinian children? To the Microsoft workers who took our flyers, who looked onto the Liberated Zone encampment with support, who have been following the Microsoft worker movement or have just learned of the worker movement, but are afraid to face retaliation, I ask you, are you not afraid of the consequences of not speaking up? Are you not afraid of the consequences of continuing to abet a genocide? Are you not afraid of the cries of a hungry Palestinian child? We might not have known when we signed our contracts to work at the supposedly more ethical big tech company that we were truly signing up to work for a digital arms manufacturer. But that doesn't mean we are not complicit. Our labor builds, and our labor supports, and our labor sells the weaponry that kills Palestinians. Every dollar we make for this company is funding the technological backbone of Israeli genocide in Palestine. Every day that we delay speaking up, another Palestinian father is scraping the remains of his children off the walls after his children's small bodies are blown apart by Israeli bombs. Every hour that we avoid escalating, another Palestinian is tortured in Israeli dungeons. Every minute we contend ourselves with the notion that Palestine is someone else's problem. Our own labor is powering the first AI-assisted genocide. Every second that we continue business as usual, another Palestinian child is crying out in hunger, is crying out in pain, is crying out in fear, and is crying out in grief. To my colleagues, we are not helpless. We are the ones building Microsoft technology. We are the ones keeping Microsoft running. Our labor is power. Our voice is power. And our collective action is power. We have the choice to reject being a party to genocide. We have the choice to say no. We have the choice to atone for our complicity, however unintended. The more of us that speak up, the more we keep each other safe. The worker-intifada continues, and I call on everyone to join our intifada, however they can, until Microsoft and all complicit companies cut all ties with Israel. Long live the Liberated Zone, long live the Intifada, glory to the martyrs, and free Palestine!
Workers, workers, say it loud!
Workers, workers, say it loud!
IOF off the cloud!
IOF off the cloud!
Workers, workers, say it loud!
Workers, workers, say it loud!
IOF off the cloud!
IOF off the cloud!
Thank you, Nasreen Jaradat, who is a current Microsoft worker and organizer with No Azure for Apartheid, and most importantly, a person of conscience. Next, I invite Anna Haddle to the stage, who is also an organizer with No Azure for Apartheid and a Microsoft worker, and will be speaking on the demands of the martyred Palestinian children's plaza and Microsoft's disappointing response.
Good afternoon. My name is Anna Haddle, and I'm a Microsoft worker who was arrested yesterday at the Liberated Zone on the martyred Palestinian Children's Plaza. I join you all today after being held in jail until the early hours of this morning. When I joined this company as a software engineer 5 years ago, I never expected that my employer would have me dragged out of my own workplace for insisting that the mass murder of an entire people is wrong, and that this company should stop enabling that murder. For over 2 years, and even up until this very second, Microsoft is still arming and enabling the Israeli occupation forces with the tools they need to commit the genocide that we see documented every single day. Whether that was through bombs and bullets or through the blockade created to manufacture starvation. Myself and thousands of other Microsoft workers, including those here with me today, have spent the past 2 years exercising every so-called proper channel this company has to stop arming genocide. Free Palestine! Make no mistake, The leadership of this company has always known that they are providing weapons for war crimes. The Liberated Zone was born out of the unwillingness of leadership to respond to anything less, and out of the extreme urgency of what is happening in Palestine right now. It was established with a few simple demands: cut ties with Israel, call for an end to the genocide and forced starvation, pay reparations to Palestinians, and end the discrimination against workers. As workers, it is our right and it is our responsibility to intervene. It is us, the workers, who make this company run. It is our labor that is being co-opted by this company to commit crimes against humanity. Though we have every right to have a say in how our labor is being used, we saw that Microsoft would rather brutalize its own workers and community members than to stop participating in the murder of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians. Let me say that again. Given a choice to continue staining its hands with the blood of thousands of Palestinians and its workers and community members here in Seattle, Microsoft continued to choose blood and violence. When Microsoft chooses to devalue Palestinian life, it chooses to devalue all of our lives. The brutalization of the people at the Liberated Zone, the chemical weapons used on us, the bruises, scrapes, and cuts, and the hours trapped in painful restraints are a drop in the ocean compared to the violence that people in Palestine face every day. This violence is only a taste, and yet it shows us their true face. And it shows us that none of us are safe. Microsoft leadership has decided to relinquish any claims to integrity or humanity in order to maintain power, profit, and status. But we do not have to do the same. We have an opportunity that no one else has, as workers, as people in Seattle, to put a stop to the violence that we are seeing today, which, we must be clear, would not be possible without Microsoft and without our labor. I have been told countless times by people who care about me to keep my head down, to stop making noise about this, to stay quiet to preserve my livelihood and my future. But is my conscience that cheap? Am I going to sell my soul and relinquish my humanity for the promise of future comfort? I say no. future in which mass murder is permitted and normalized, in which moral standards are so degraded that all of these human lives are considered disposable. I don't want that future. I want a future that is grounded in dignity and liberation for the Palestinian people and for all people. Whatever the consequences may be, my only regret is that I didn't do more, and I didn't do more sooner. To the people of Palestine, you are always in my heart. Thank you.
Nadella's name. Satya, or Satya, in Hindi and Urdu roughly means truth or truth teller. But we know Satya lied. He lied and pretended that he didn't know how Microsoft's AI and cloud tech was being used against Palestinians in Gaza. To continue our press conference, next we'll be hearing from Ahmed, a community member who was arrested yesterday, and he will be speaking on Microsoft's violence and state violence which he experienced directly.
Hello, my name is Ahmed. I'm a Palestinian tech worker that was brutally arrested yesterday. I cannot help but see yesterday's brutal arrest as a microcosm of the courageous resistance we witness in our beautiful Palestine. As I watch the news of the extinction of my people, burned alive in Gaza, and being starved by the Zionist entity, I see them make a conscious and defiant choice to resist. The parallel to what we saw yesterday is undeniable. Here, we, the people of conscience, at the heart of Microsoft's campus, made a collective decision to resist Microsoft's complicity in the genocide in Gaza and the occupation of the West Bank, which is currently being annexed. The major difference is that I got a slap on the wrist with an arrest, while they pay with their lives. I endured a few rounds from a pepper ball gun at point blank, and my back bled with grotesque bruises, while in Palestine it is real guns with real bullets resulting in real deaths. Of course, on the way to the correctional facility, I was forced to strip half naked for all to see. This humiliation was to stop our coughing from the residual pepper chemical poison burning on my shirt. You could see my blood smeared on the van walls, a testament to their violence. In that moment of profound degradation, I was not just a protester in a van, I was every Palestinian stripped at a checkpoint, my body not my own, my dignity a casualty of their brutal control. In the facility, caged and neglected, I could only imagine my people in Gaza, I could only imagine my people in Palestine imprisoned by a vast and unforgiving injustice, the resistance a flicker of light in utter darkness. My cellmates, with their unheard voices and undignified treatment, our wounds from their arrest left to sting without care. This was not just neglect, it was a deliberate lesson in powerlessness. And it gave me only the smallest, most terrifying glimpse into the systematic dehumanization, the torture, and the calculated cruelty our Palestinian siblings are subjected to in Israeli prisons. What I endured for hours, they have endured for years. What was a glimpse for me is their endless reality. Microsoft's violence yesterday is yet another microcosm of the violence we see in Palestine, here at home and on campus. Instead of addressing our demands to cut ties with the Zionist entity and to abide by international law, they called the police to brutally arrest us. They continue to profit by enabling the genocide in Gaza and the surveillance in the West Bank. This complicity is not just immoral, it is criminal. The UN report by the UN Special Rapporteur names them, and this makes Microsoft, including Satya, criminally liable for their role in atrocities. Instead of cutting ties with ICE, they continue to profit from government thirsty to terrorize immigrants in the US. Instead of cutting these partnerships with Palantir, they continue to profit from global wars, surveillance, and genocide in Gaza. Instead of addressing Microsoft employees' concerns about Palestine, they muted all emails that mention anything about Palestine.
Shame!
We, the people of collective conscience, demand that Microsoft cut all ties with the Zionist entity. We will not stop escalating. We will do everything in our power, whether it means facing arrests, being shot by pepper bullets, being pinned to the ground, or putting our bodies and well-being on the line until our demands are met for our beautiful Palestine. Thank you.
Free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. Free, free, free Palestine. Free, free, free Palestine.
Just gonna repeat one more time. If you have zines, I recommend handing them over to workers who are currently in commute right now. We have plenty of extra underneath the tent as well. For the rest of our program, we'll be hearing from community members and organizations who stand in solidarity with the workers who commenced the martyred Palestinian Children's Plaza. So, without further ado, next I invite a speaker from Super UW.
As we stand here today on the 684th day of the escalated genocide in Palestine, Microsoft has the audacity to violently arrest our comrades fighting their complacency and irresponsibility. Shame! Meanwhile, our brothers and sisters in Gaza are living under a sky of rocket fire, under siege and widespread famine orchestrated by the U.S. Zionist regime and embedded by the complacent corporations like Microsoft. These torturous conditions that we see in Palestine are manufactured right here in the Puget Sound, in the city named after Chief Seattle, on the land of the Coast Salish people who have been murdered, displaced, and continue to be denied their sovereignty. From corporations like Microsoft to Boeing, Seattle is home to multiple of the essential players in the ongoing killing, displacement, and genocide of Palestinians. Boeing manufactures the F-15 fighter jets, Apache helicopters, Hellfire missiles, and 500-pound bombs, which Israel uses to murder entire Palestinian families and destroy homes, schools, hospitals, and mosques. Microsoft creates the AI used to develop the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation's financial models, which are designed to slaughter Palestinians en masse under the lure of aid. There is no part of these corporations that do not contribute to the genocide. Building genocidal technology is Microsoft and Boeing's wealth. Much like how Microsoft refuses to cut ties with genocidal occupying entities, the University of Washington refuses to cut ties with the corporations that are most responsible. Instead, it allows unfettered access to the most important part of the university, the students. They have promised to create a pipeline of students into the Boeing workforce, giving executives control over UW curriculum, and allowing Boeing to establish a research hub in the newly constructed Interdisciplinary Engineering Building, or IEB. When students and community members rose up in May to occupy the Boeing-funded IEB and rename the building in honor of martyred engineer student Siobhan Azawul, and demand that our tuition money and research be divested from genocide, UW authorized police and state troopers to violently and brutally arrest them. Yay! Just like how Microsoft called in multiple militarized police agencies to arrest workers and community members. Shame! Shame! At UW, shortly after federal government agencies threatened to cut federal funding following the protests, UW wasted no time in bending a knee to the state's threats by indefinitely suspending and banning students from campus. These suspensions and campus bans, which have still not been lifted in over 3 months, have resulted in firings, doxings, financial harm, barriers to medical care, and evictions from on-campus housing. Shame! This repression, though violent at times, is a mere fraction of what students in Palestine are enduring. UW's actions demonstrate why targeting genocidal weapons and tech companies is not only a threat to the institution's interests, but to the larger structure of imperialism and colonialism. Our mere presence and willpower to disrupt business as usual is enough to get police to hogtie our comrades and violently arrest us. In the same vein, ultra-violence is the only way settler colonial entities can maintain power. The most violent repression by the Zionist entity is an attempt to separate the Palestinian people from the resistance. but the resistance remains strong because its leaders and fighters are of the people. Any resistance teaches us that power comes not from the state, but from the people themselves. No amount of money, brutality, or technology can destroy a true people's movement. When repression rains down on our movement in the United States, we must not forget the decades of repression and violence Israel, the U.S., and reactionary Arab regimes have waged on the Palestinians and the armed resistance. The repression is coming for us all. No one will avoid it. It demonstrates the state is scared of this type of disruption, this type of resistance. That is why it is so important that our brave comrades took on this action yesterday, risking their safety not only in the short term, but in the long term, with ramifications of being arrested. That is why it is so important that our brave comrades took on this action yesterday, risking their safety not only in the short term, but with the long-term ramifications of being arrested. We must buckle in for the full extent of repression because we know our cause is greater than any personal risk, than any single event. We must follow the courageous example of Palestinian youth and students. They are those pulling men, women, and children out of the rubble. They are those risking their lives at the GHF killing sites to secure meager amounts of food for their families and communities. They are our resistance fighters. It is in the strength of the resistance, including the resilient youth, which has liberated thousands of Palestinian prisoners since the start of Al-Aqsa flood on October 7th. And it is their strength which will liberate Palestine. Here in Seattle, we must learn from Palestine and continue deepening our commitment to this fight. The reactions of police violence against our comrades should not and will not scare our movement. The brave acts on the Microsoft campus yesterday strengthened our community's resolve to continue attacking imperialism wherever it appears. We have the tools, we know the targets. Now it is time to stand together in a united fight for Palestine, across backgrounds and ideological lines. If now is not the time to disrupt the blood-drenched cash flow of these genocidal companies, the weapons manufacturers, these unconscionable institutions in our very backyard, when is the time? I will end with the quote from revolutionary George Jackson, who was assassinated in prison on this very day in 1971. His words have held true across battles of repression and isolation, and resonate deeply amidst the height of ethnic cleansing and genocide against Palestinians. Settle your quarrels, come together, understand the reality of the situation, understand that fascism is already here, that people are already dying who could be saved, that generations more will live poor, butchered half-lives if you fail to act. Do what must be done. Discover your humanity and your love in revolution. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. People united will never be defeated. Resistance is glorious. Resistance is glorious. We will be victorious. We will be victorious. Resistance is glorious. Resistance is glorious. We will be victorious. We will be victorious.
Thank you, Super UW. Next, I'll invite an organizer from Nidal, Seattle, and UAW 421.
Yesterday, a comrade in Nidal was arrested violently and put into solitary confinement in prison here on stolen Coast Salish land. Shame! Hello to all workers. Workers of Microsoft, of Boeing, in tech, unionized, incarcerated workers under modern day slavery, the working people all around you, here on stolen Coast Salish land. I am a rank and file member of UAW 4121. My workplace, the University of Washington, is complicit in the genocide of my relatives in Palestine. Shame! Shame! The research that is done there, UW's best friend Boeing, the ties to Zionist academia is shameful. The labor, research, and education that UW exports onto our Palestinian siblings without their consent as bombs and jets and AI that slaughter and know no bounds. Shame! Shame! A fraction of that exploitation also bleeds into our workplace here at UW. We have seen massive cuts to research. We have seen layoffs done at the flip of a switch of people we work alongside. We have seen intense police brutality, as our comrade just said, at the expense of our students, the UW 33 and Super UW, who took righteous action against the Boeing by occupying the IEB to sever the tentacles of this war-killing company from our workplace and our education. We have seen the UW 33 be suspended and banned from every UW medical center and UW administration. Shame! Shame! UW is openly collaborating with the Trump regime while blocking every avenue for divestment from Israel. We have seen poor working conditions, in particular of our migrant siblings who have been thrown to the wayside, who have been thrown and locked up by ICE in inhumane conditions at the Northwest Detention Center down in Tacoma. Shame! Shame! Make no mistake, our conditions here are connected, for it is ICE that is enforcing mass repression. It is the IOF that brutalizes Palestinians. It is SPD that is brutalizing our community. It is UW that enforces these means of repression. Shame! Shame! And it is the very snake of U.S. imperialism that stretches far and wide from here in Seattle to Palestine, that is oppressing the masses and the workers of the world. Shame! Shame! We here, as workers of the world, in the belly of the beast, our labor funds and arms Israel to the teeth. Shame! Shame! It is our very duty as workers from every sector of the working class. We were directly called upon to fight and stand in solidarity with Palestine. We must respond to the call of the Palestinian trade unions who have said, our free comrades, for 22 months, the occupation has carried out the killing of civilians and the destruction of homes, destroying 80% of Gaza's houses, all of its factories, bulldozing most of its agricultural lands, and closing off most sources of livelihood. Honorable colleagues, we think well of you, so roll up your sleeves to break the siege on Gaza. We await from you a human and moral role to save Gaza from a blockade in which the criminal occupation has sealed every window for the entry of food, medicine, and water to its people. Our union comrades, we await your role in delivering the cry of the children and workers of Gaza to decision makers and to the streets. You are the most worthy of carrying this responsibility, so be our support. Move to the streets and stop the arms deals that are killing children, women, and workers. Mobilize the sympathizers and supporters to break the siege on Gaza and deliver your free voice to the decision makers. there's no excuse for those who abandon Gaza and its people or who abandon the workers. Gaza will remain a witness to those who stood with the cry for humanity and the cry for freedom, and it will remain a symbol for the free people of the world. We must honor these words from our Palestinian brothers and sisters. We must heed this call coming directly from the workers of Palestine. For a long time, our workplace has fueled genocide without our consent.
Right.
Shame! But I ask all of you workers, are you a cog in a machine? No! Will you sit idly by as your labor directly produces the weapons, the transportation, the research and technology that is mass genociding our people in Gaza, that is emaciating our people in Gaza, that has turned our Palestinian brothers and sisters into guinea pigs for mass slaughter so these companies can find more profitable ways to exploit and kill? No! Will you continue to consent to work under these conditions, or will you stand up and fight back? I say to you, the time is now for a worker-intifada. Intifada, intifada. Intifada, intifada. Globalize the intifada. Globalize the intifada. Intifada, intifada. Intifada, intifada. Join the worker-intifada. Join the worker-intifada. Intifada, intifada. Intifada, intifada. Long live the intifada. Long live the intifada. Thank you.
Thank you to our speaker from Nadal, Seattle, and UAW 4121. Next, we'll be hearing from an organizer from JVP Seattle, Jesse Roth, who will speak on the community ties to Microsoft's complicity in this genocide.
Hello, everyone. It's an honor to be here alongside No Azure for Apartheid. In particular, I am moved by the workers who have put their jobs and their immigration statuses on the line. I admire your backbone and your integrity. Just about a month ago, JVP, alongside our comrades at No Azure for Apartheid, protested at Seattle's Palantir office. Indeed. We did this alongside a nationally coordinated action with organizers in New York, in Denver, in Palo Alto, and in DC, across issues and across the nation. Sometimes in the movement, when we say our liberation is intertwined, we mean it metaphorically. But when we are talking about these tech companies, it is very literal. For those who don't know, Palantir is a tech surveillance company. It is mask off evil. They brag about killing people. They explicitly talk about the supremacy of the West. And their motto is that they build to dominate. They are now they are mask off evil, but they're honest about it. Where Microsoft is hiding behind investigations and ethical tech companies. Shame! They are also thick as thieves with Microsoft. They work together constantly. Palantir
Palantir has over $100 million in contracts with the Trump administration, including in ICE. They are the backbone of the ICE deportation machine. They are also working with Elon Musk's Doge, where they are unleashing AI in federal data, a massive breach to everyone's privacy. But their technology is by far the most devastating in Gaza, and it is there where their tech is in lockstep with Microsoft. We know from recent reporting that Microsoft is storing millions of hours of Palestinian phone calls on their servers. What Palantir does is their AI systems use that data to power Lavender, Gospel, and Where's Daddy. And those systems create kill lists that decide who to target in Gaza. Where's Daddy, which is a name so cruel I could scream, specifically targets where these people live, where their families live, and then drops bombs on them, their families, and often the entire apartment building where they live. Under techno-fascism, our safety is intertwined. The AI models that they are perfecting as they destroy our siblings and our friends in Gaza, they are using that same technology to better deport, detain, and harm immigrant communities here. They're doing that to better surveil activists. What is happening in Gaza, the way techno-fascism is working in Gaza, will come for every single one of us. That's right! I will end with this. If you are a worker or a person who is listening who has not yet joined this movement, there is a home for you here. We want you to join us. We want you to join the worker-intifada, and we want you to join us in fighting techno-fascism, apartheid, and genocide everywhere it is. Free, free Palestine! 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 Free, free Palestine!
Thank you, Jesse from JVP Seattle. Just a few quick announcements before we go on to our last speaker. I know some people have been standing out in the heat for a bit. Reminder, there's some water over here. If some of y'all are already planning to leave right now, make sure you leave with a buddy. And if there's any press in the crowd that has not yet gotten a comment, please find our press liaison who will raise his hand wherever he is right now. Okay, great. So without further ado, I invite our final speaker, which will be Kelly from Bilyad, reminding us what is our role here in Seattle.
Thank you all so much for being here. I know many of us have been out in the sun for a very long time after a very long day and a very long night, longer night for many of our brave protesters here. For those of you that are here, that were there yesterday, that may have spent time in jail, thank you, we see you, and we are here to uplift you. I want to ground us before we close that what we are seeing in this moment is the strength of our movement and in the people of conscience around the world standing in solidarity with Gaza and the people of Palestine. We are watching in Houston as brave protesters launched the Anas al-Sharif encampment at one of the 9 Zionist embassies in the country. We watched here yesterday in our own backyard as current and former workers and brave community members established a liberated zone and put their bodies on the line to confront this genocidal war profiteer. These actions show the world that we refuse to let our hearts callous over. We refuse to turn our backs on the people of Gaza. Palestine will always be our compass, pointing us and all of the struggling people of the world to liberation. We are also here today, despite the brutality that we saw yesterday, to say that we will not stop. We see Microsoft clearly. We see how they treat their workers, how they arrest and brutalize them. We see how they attempt to silence them and censor them. Shame! But we will not allow our demands to go unheard. Microsoft must cut all ties with Israel. Microsoft must use its global influence to call for an end to the genocide and forced starvation in Gaza. Microsoft must pay reparations to the Palestinian people. And Microsoft must end its discrimination against all Palestinian, Arab, and Muslim and pro-Palestinian workers. And I am also here to say that they will do these things. They will. Microsoft's cowardly response in sending the RPD, the Bellevue PD, and also the WSP yesterday to deploy chemical weapons on campus against peaceful protesters shows us that they are terrified. They are terrified about the unity and strength of our movement. They are terrified that we are exposing them and the blood that is on their hands. The Microsoft executives have shown what their true priorities are, and it is lining their pockets with blood money. Instead of meeting with protesters, instead of engaging in negotiations and engaging in a way to protect their workers, they instead chose to repress their community and repress their workers. But we are here today to say that we are not afraid. We are here to say that we are not done. Microsoft, you have been exposed. And now I want to speak to every single one of you that is here today. I want to speak to everybody that might watch this later or might be listening to the live stream. I'm here to appeal to you. Great timing. I'm here to appeal to you. Join us in this fight. Join us in this struggle. It is our duty to take an active stance against the genocide that we are seeing in Gaza. It is our duty to take an active stance, especially when it is happening in our own backyard. We must continue to increase our pressure. After 683 days of genocide. It is unacceptable to stand idly by. If your heart is not broken by an estimated 200,000 deaths, I ask you, is it still beating? If your tears are not falling for the thousands of children that have been martyred by Israel, it is time to open your eyes. Glory to the martyrs! Let these feelings guide you. Let them guide you to action, to take up this struggle and join us. Join the tech worker intifada. Join an organization. If you are a Microsoft employee, join No Azure for Apartheid, because it is your labor and your exploitation that is responsible. Sympathy without action is no longer acceptable. We must and we will resist all imperialist forces until the very end of this genocide, until the siege on Gaza is lifted, until the very last prisoner walks free, until the apartheid wall has fallen, until the occupation ends, until every last Palestinian has returned to their land, and until Palestine is free from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea. Only through complete liberation of Palestine will we see true liberation throughout the world. Thank you.
Workers, say it loud. Workers, say it loud. IOF off the cloud. IOF off the cloud. Workers, say it loud. Workers, say it loud. IOF off the cloud. IOF off the cloud. As we wrap up today, I want to make sure that not only are we leaving grounded and proud of our comrades, of our fellow workers who are willing to sacrifice and put their bodies on the line to speak out against genocide, but I also want us to recognize our own roles in resisting genocide, and that the phrase, the worker-intifada, is not just a mere figure of speech. It is a responsibility to each and every one of us here. The worker-intifada does not reserve itself to a certain level of privileged workers. It does not reserve itself to a certain kind of worker within a certain kind of border. The worker-intifada is a responsibility we carry every day, every week, until Gaza is free. Until Palestine, from the river to the sea, is free. Until every person being exploited by the capitalistic, oligarchic, imperialist class in this country, to every person who is being exploited, whether it is in this country or another country or in the global south or wherever in the north, until we are all free. And so I leave you with this responsibility. And I also leave you with another responsibility, which is, if you are leaving, make sure you leave with a buddy. You don't leave alone. And not only are you leaving with pride and responsibility, but also a grounding to our martyrs, our shaheed, who are not dead. They are alive in a way which we don't understand, and for this reason we cannot grieve out of disparity. It is for this reason we must grieve in activity. So thank you all for coming today. Free, free Palestine!